Back to
Yeah.
Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by Kev the Great Went. Holy fucking night two, Batman. What a show. That was a fantastic show, Kev. What'd you think?
I think about halfway through that first set, they could completely shaken off everything the night before. There were no more first set songs after that.
Yeah, definitely from Birds on, they threw gas on the fire. Though I'm going to maintain, and maybe we'll argue about this, I'm not sure. I don't think the pre-Birds segment was bad. I think it was safe, and I think that it was confined. But I think that's what they needed to kind of get locked in. And then once they were where they needed to get, they never looked back. It was just complete fire from there on out. Uh, just fantastic. I mean, honestly, for Mexico too. Like, I don't want to shit on Mexico, but like the expectations for Mexico, at least in my mind, are lower than like MSG or like Late Summer Tour or Dick's, right? Like, you're like, oh, as long as they
Yeah.
play well, you do it for like the venue and the atmosphere, and it's just like a carryover. You don't expect a show like this or a set like that second set in
Right.
Mexico, right? Like, is that just me? Like, I feel like this is an anomaly for the
I
Mexico
think so.
shows.
Yes. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. Can I throw something on you, though? Can I lay
Yeah,
something on you? Can we call it Runaway Tube?
yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, what would be the other choice?
Uh,
There's no tube gym.
tube Dog, Tube
I
Gym.
I like the gymmed out tube instead of the jammed out tube.
Right. The Gymmed Out
The
Tube.
gymmed tube, but yeah, I think the runaway tube. I think that's what you call it. I liked that too.
Oh,
I
yes,
I,
Jason. Of
I was
course.
digging that. All right, Jason, we're getting to it. There's only two of us, so we have a little more time to bullshit
You got to
tonight.
let us ease you in. All
You
right.
gotta let us cook, Jason. You gotta let us cook. Come on, man.
All
All right.
right. Hmm.
Starting to show off with first tube is a bold move, and I think a strong play. I think it really builds, it just easily builds the energy in. There's not a lot of intricacy or fuck up potential. It's safe, but solid.
Gets the crowd going. It's everything you want
Yeah,
in
it
an
does.
opener, and it's an instrumental. So you're just
Right, kind
feeling
of the buried alive thing, but also with the energy and the hype. So it kind of spans and does both worlds. And I think it worked. It obviously worked tonight. I think it set them up for it. And then right into free, which again, so we were talking about this at the set break hang with the members. I love this flavor, right? Those middle years, just like classic. In my mind, it's very like classic, like PHiSH. It's not the crazy shit or it's very, I don't know. I just love this flavor, this first tube free Roggae flavor. So I was digging it. I know it was safe, but I was all about it.
right. Free was a very radical change I felt for them when the single came out.
Yeah, at the time,
At
for
the time,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
But you
Because it was
gotta,
a straight up rock song.
but that dun dun that like that
Yeah.
jam, the free jam has become so integral
The
and
Eminence
like
Front Jam.
yeah. Right, it just becomes so much of their sound and it's a very easy thing to jam on and you know, I don't know.
Great
I loved
opener.
it.
Great pairing. That's a good 1-2 punch to come in on. 15 minutes, give you a little breather there for a second, and then let's take you down and let you get your feet in the sand. And
Yeah, and I feel like in a couch tour, Roger's could be maybe doesn't translate as well, right? Like because you were saying that you thought it was a little bit slower and sucked the energy out, but I don't think I minded it personally from my perspective because I was like, I don't know. I guess I still had high expectations. I was like, it was like the calm before the storm. You could just have like a really cool, chill vibe with it, you
right.
know.
I love the beginning that they're like singing in a circle to each other. It's a really fun lyric, and it has a great build. It has a nice section to it. So
Yeah, and then they play it well. I was very happy to hear Driver. Although I got to admit, after Ellie last night, right, and the Mango song, and Driver is one of those songs that I would sing to my girls, and like I don't want to get all emotional, but I was feeling it at this point. Like I was starting to get misty again. I was like, these fuckers, they keep getting me over and over again. But it's a cool bust out. I don't know. I don't know if it's like something I would want in heavy rotation, but I've always had a fondness and like an appreciation for this song. Hey,
Right?
thanks, Roggae.
It almost seemed like an afterthought. He just plopped it down, another slow one after Roggae, and
I don't think Driver could be an afterthought though. I think it's such a rare like low rotation that there had to have been some conversation at some point that they're going to bring it back.
right. I'm just glad that the driver in his head told him to wear that black T-shirt tonight because he looked like old Trey with just the T-shirt on.
Yeah, yeah, we don't need the crazy fashion and everything. Actually, Noogie being here reminded me of our new members. I wanted to give a shout out to Andrew and Ian. Welcome to the Wook crew. Glad to have you. All right. So, what do you think about Hey Stranger? That's one that I'm on the fence about.
I think it fills the same purpose as Back on the Train. It's that mid-tempo rocker. I really like it. I think it has a fun lyric. I feel like Trey really digs into it. I think he's
Yeah.
having fun with it. And sorry, I think it's going to be the one that pops up a lot this year. I bet we get 5 of them by the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't hate this song by any mean, and I feel like it's gotten better. So this was the fourth one. I was really not a huge fan of it when I first, when they first started playing it. But it's starting to grow on me. It's just hard because they've had so many just ripping bangers, like Life Saving Gun last night, and then Oblivion again, like tonight, things like that. So I don't think it's quite at that like level with the new music, but I dig it.
Michael,
It's growing on me.
Michael, it is stylized on the album Mercy that way. Trey wrote all the songs with Saw with no capital, so it's just a stylized thing, and Fishnet adopts what Trey does, I guess, on the
Well,
album.
yeah, I mean he's the writer, so that's how it is.
Now Gumbo, so close. We were so close. We were so close to having a big bowl of gumbo, and we got a cup.
We
Maybe
got
a
a
little
cup.
bit extra.
All right, so I will concede that so we can address that part and then set it aside. Portion wise, it was a cup. The flavor in that cup was
Just
great.
spicy.
It had a little kick to it. I really liked, and I know what you're saying. Like when they went to Page was right when that moment when you're like thinking it had more potential, give me more. So it's a little bit disheartening to give it to Page, but still Page fucking rocked it. And I think that you can't overlook how great he played in the end of
Right.
Gumbo. I
Well,
thought he was killing it.
like I said at Set Break, I recently listened to the 97 Gumbo that they're releasing from Philly. So
Yeah,
I
the
was
Spectrum.
probably way spoiled, and I was just like, this is not 1997. What are you doing?
I know, but that's, I mean, honestly, with that, I mean, there's not really many Gumbos you could listen to, right?
Right. Yeah, a couple of them in 97 they got out there.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, I think From the Road does too, Janslow.
And so we got Gumbo, which is New Orleans, and then My Soul, which is by Clifton Chenier, the king of Zydeco. So a little New Orleans break in the middle there. I'm a My Soul guy. I can work with My Soul.
Fuck yeah, I can. It's a good time. It gets everybody dancing. It locks the band in. And it's the same thing as earlier in the set when we're saying that it's just a very safe way to jam, but with another injection of energy. And I know everybody's going to say, and we, we said that and agreed that Birds was like the turning point, right? But you could, I think, argue that My Soul was the on-ramp that got us into the Birds jam that then took off for the rest of the night. It definitely increased the energy in their playing.
All right, Janslow, I do not know off the top of my head if From the Road writes it lowercase.
No, I think they do. I already addressed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
All right, so this Birds of a Feather, I feel like now all of a sudden we are in second set territory. We've thrown off last night, really no second set jams or songs. This first set, standard first set, good stuff, all solid. The Birds of a Feather, they clicked and they locked in and they went into that ESP mode with each other.
Yeah, they wanted to do something special. Or maybe, I don't know, I guess they always want to do something special, but this is when they actually started executing and doing something special.
And how was the beginning for you? Did they nail the beginning? Because I know you're big when they have to play it exactly right.
Well, I mean, they don't have to, and I like it no matter what. No, actually, I don't think it was super tight and clean. But that's so impossible. I mean, that's a very tough expectation, right? I think it was, and then you know what? But they're the ones that set that expectation because they've played it. There has been times where they play it perfect.
When they nail it, they nail it. Right.
When they nail it, they nail it. I don't think this Birds was not a Birds that you would talk about because it was rhythmically perfect or super clean. It was just a monster jam. I think the beginning sounded fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It was really good, but it was certainly not as clean as they can play. But the jam was fantastic.
Birds has a high 4.0 batting average for jams. If you think back, Hershey, there was another one in the second set that was pretty huge.
Blossom back in, what was that, 18.
Right. Well, I'm thinking 4.0, but yeah, even if you want to go back there. So I'm always happy to see it. I know some people are questionable on it.
Yeah, I don't get those people. It's fucking great. It's
got a great lyric. They strut out a stride. One time we made shirts with all these cartoon birds, like the two old crows and Roadrunner, and on the back it said they strut out a stride. And we weren't allowed to sell them. We weren't allowed to sell them.
Amy's not going to let you do that.
It had the lyric. Yeah, we had to go. But you had to go with the lyric.
Every time I hear Birds, I think of the scene from Bittersweet where they're like, da da. And like he does the Star Trek thing and like they're working it out. Because that's actually my favorite part of that movie is to see the process, of how they write a song, like trying things in the studio and like the so I don't know. I instantly replay that scene in my mind anytime they play this song. Fucking great. And then Axilla Part 2. All right. What do you think, Kev?
I want 1.5. I want the original lyrics with
the Part 2 ending. Yeah.
Because the ending is beautiful. I mean, this 30 minutes was as solid as PHiSH gets. If you wanted to turn somebody on to PHiSH that appreciated jam bands, you could say this is your 30 minutes.
Birds, Axilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that jam was so great. I wish it had gone longer. I thought it had juice in it still, that they were still falling apart. They could have stumbled forward another few minutes.
Yeah, no, I think there could have, but it also, I felt very excited and satisfied too at the end of it. And also kind of like a head scratcher, but like not in a bad way. I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Like we're separate all of a sudden. It was very out of nowhere. I think though, and we'll get into the second set here in a little bit, but I think when you replay this and you hear the end of Axilla into a song I Heard the Ocean Sing, I think it's going to play really well, right? Like I think the morph down and then the morph up is just going to be super interesting to listen to. But I thought this was a great way to end this set, and I should do shit like this more often. I don't think they always need to do the big rocking,
I'm gonna. Yeah, I was just gonna throw T under the bus and be like, he'd say, "Where's my rock?" or "Where's my big song to end the set?"
Right. I mean, which is cool, but like that's probably the most consistent thing. You were talking about that the other day about how like the Dead had very specific songs for different slots, and how PHiSH doesn't really do that. They mix it up. I would argue that the one thing that they are usually the most consistent in is the set closer, like the big climaxy thing. But this was a cool example of not necessarily having to prescribe to that same formula every time. But awesome first set. Quick housekeeping. We'll be back 15 minutes after Encore for the next two shows. And every time PHiSH plays and Dead & Co. and maybe some other bands, we're in talks on maybe doing some after shows. But come join us, hang out with us. We love seeing you guys in chat. If you're watching afterwards, let us know in the comments what you thought about tonight's show. And if you're here live, like fucking let us know because I love seeing it. Also. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to wake up early Sunday morning after Mexico, we're going to recap at 10 a.m. Sunday.
Yeah, the whole thing.
You can't get enough of this.
And then members, we got a fun hangout today at Shipwreck. It was a really chill, cool thing, and we're going to do that again tomorrow and Saturday. So we'll see you there. All right. I can't wait to talk about this set, man. This
Ooh,
set was fucking something else. Holy
that's
shit.
hot.
You called this, right? I mean, not that it was like the most impressive, like, you know, unexpected call ever, with being on the beach, but it's still pretty good. I think it's always good when you get a song I heard the ocean sing.
I love, love, love it. The lyric is dark. You really don't know what's going on. That's what's beautiful. You can listen to it over and over again, and you really don't ever know what the story is that's going on in it. We tried to do a clip, we tried to do a parody of it once. So I was deep in with the lyrics for a while, trying to figure out what the angle was to make a commercial for it. And
Yeah, there's a nice level of ambiguity there that Tom put into it, and
I
I
think
think it works.
mermaids. I think
Yeah,
mermaids. A song
yeah,
I heard the ocean sing, like she's sitting on the
like the
rock and the
siren
ship
song,
rock. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say with
Na, 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 na. Yeah, yeah, I could totally picture that.
it. Yeah,
Some
it's like a
like sailor
hero
going out.
journey, right?
Yeah.
Hero journey kind of story.
This
But
was a pretty
fantastic, and lots of space. They opened it up. They let it breathe.
very
You couldn't
patient,
ask for
which I
more.
think is the theme of the set. What really made all of these jams work so well was how patient they were, and they started that right in the first jam. Spacey and patient. Fantastic. And then we got a wave of hope, and I
Oh,
was on like I was a little bit for this always happens to me. I don't know about you, but like there's that split second where I'm disappointed, and then my brain registers that it has become like a monster jam vehicle because like it has a very high batting average. I should know when it comes on, like, oh sweet, we're gonna have a fucking awesome jam, but the beginning is so like doesn't sit well with me. It's still kind of like chintzy, so I'm like, ah, and I'm like, oh, all right, we'll get there.
it is, since it's the first one wasn't that long. Since the second wave of hope, it has been the most consistent jam vehicle, and it's put a lot of the other ones to bed. You don't see the Soul Planet anymore. Wave of Hope has taken that spot of a new song that's goes deep.
Yeah, the Soul Planet, the Set Your Soul Free, like there was a couple that were like in a row, and now it's Wave of Hope is fits that, and I
Mhm.
think this one does it as well, if not
Oh my
better than
god!
any of those.
Right.
This jam in particular, I think this is probably the prime Wave of Hope now at this point. It had everything, and it wasn't like super ADHD and scattershot everything. It was everything, but in a really patient, nice progression. They got to things organically, and experimented with things without just like oh now we're here, okay now we're here, because sometimes like Ruby
Mm.
Waves always falls victim to that. Like it goes places, but they always do it in like quick chapters. It's like here's a 32 bar chapter, here's a 32 bar
Mhm.
chapter. Like you do this and that. I felt like this was one of the more patient jams I've heard them do in a very long time. And
Yeah,
Fishman, holy shit, unbelievable.
they didn't waste a minute with
No,
it. I don't feel like there was nothing. There was no searching. They were on autopilot through it. And that's when those beautiful moments happen. I mean, there were some truly amazing moments about 16 minutes in. And then when we got to be like 24 minutes in, I marked in my head, they were just really, I don't know. One of those things when you can almost hear and feel and see coming off of the stage that they have found that zone.
yeah, and I think a lot of it was because they built it from the bottom up. We've talked about that concept on here before about building a jam from the groove, and I feel like Mike and Fish in that like up tempo, locked in train track groove, just like hitting it, and then Page really. I mean, I pause before I go on with what he was doing with the synths and all of the voices. I think definitely him, but then Paige and Trey's interplay between each other over that locked in groove, you didn't have to get
Mhm.
off of it. It was so intricate and interesting in and of itself that they could just sit there and sit there and sit there, and it maintained and held your attention. Eventually, though, they started doing that whole rhythmic modulation thing I love, where they shift the center of the beat off, and you feel kind of wishy washy. You don't know where you're going with it, you know. Uh,
And yeah, one of the things I was talking about, Brian, was that Makasupa reggae sort of thing that they
The
were getting
reggae
into.
bleeps. It was a
Yeah.
reggae feel mixed in with the bleeps and bloops. I was like, yeah. Honestly, the
they
bleeps made it feel more appropriate. And like, I don't know, like this is maybe stupid to say, but like I get a little cringy when the jam bands do like authentic, like try to recreate straight reggae. It just doesn't feel, it doesn't have the same touch, that like if you hear an actual reggae band play. So like
Mhm,
I liked that it was reggae influenced without
mhm,
being like, you know, I don't know. I
mhm.
thought the bleepy reggae was very, very cool. The bloopy reggae, we'll call it.
It was, and then at this point, I'm like, wow, we're 51 minutes into the set, and they go into Oblivion. I'm like, all right, give me a 20
Get
minute
some.
Oblivion now, but it
Yeah.
was solid. I feel like Oblivion's been getting shorted. The last one at New Year's was
I
not as
shorted.
long
I
as
mean, we know why now in hindsight, but I agree. I think Oblivion has so much potential. It's a shame when they don't give it to you. I will say, and they've done this Oblivion Tweezer phenomenon has happened before. They're very similar to each other, like sonically and jam wise. So even though I felt shorted on the Oblivion, I felt like the ideas that they established in the Oblivion jam resurfaced in the Tweezer jam. So if you took them kind of as a composite, I think it kind of worked. Yeah, that was some junk shit, right? You take care of that.
Yeah, it was somebody. I deleted the comment.
We need to get
It
some
was on
mods.
Facebook. It was on Facebook. So all our YouTube friends do not know what's going on. I like Oblivion. I hope that it gets uh some more jam to it going forward. I
Yeah.
hope it hasn't been relegated like Mercury. The jam disappeared from Mercury at some point, and it's probably never coming back.
Okay, but see, I agree. Like, I don't want Oblivion to lose a jam, but it wouldn't bother me as much as Mercury because I think Oblivion
Right.
is a far superior song and it's not as long. Mercury, the problem is they make you sit through like 12 minutes of,
Vermilion.
yeah, Vermilion. And then if they don't deliver on it, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Oblivion like that slaps right off the gun. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Oblivion. I think very highly of it, but I agree. It needs the big jam.
Give me my 12 minutes back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
I
right.
hold on. I don't want to skip over this tweezer though because I think the trance, that like rhythmic trance they got in, was musically maybe the highlight of the night for me. I don't think the overall jam was as good as Wave of Hope. I don't even think this was one of the a top tweezer jam at all. But specifically the end of it with the trance and what Fishman was doing, it was just mind-boggling. Like I just listening to him was having trouble comprehending what I was absorbing. It was just one of those like jaw-dropping, like this is fantastic playing right now. That's all.
I know you
I had to call it out.
before we came on, you said that you were really, really high on this tweezer, and I was like, it was an okay tweezer, but
It was
I
specifically that moment though. Like if I
right.
had to isolate it, there was a phrasing where PHiSH could have just been playing a straight beat and it would have sounded incredible, but he was playing open like a percussionist, right? Not playing like a groove drummer, but still having a groove. I really need to think about it, collect my thoughts, listen to it like 15 more times, and maybe I could have a cohesive opinion about it. But I'll just say that the end of Tweezer, I was really floored by. Just absolutely fantastic.
I thought they were going to go back and actually do a slowdown because they went back into the theme, but we ended up with the song Trey plays when he doesn't know what to play.
This I think was a conscious decision. It was, I don't know. It was cool though. I mean, they hit
It
it.
reads to me like they did Tube, and then Trey's like, "Oh right, I wanted to do Runaway Jim. All right, guys, let's do it."
He's gymmed. All right, I'm gonna use.
Weekapa. There was the
Right, I was
Weekapa,
gonna say they've gymmed up
right.
songs before. Like this
The
is
Runaway
not a
Groove.
first
Right.
offender. I liked it though. I think that the idea, the concept was strong. I think the tube jam could have had a little bit more.
You need a long jam. You do. If you're going to do it, give us 10 minutes of a tube jam so we forget what you're even playing. Go into another song. And then when you hit that 2 minute at the ending, people are like, oh, we had tube. They never finished it.
Right. Do a little bit of a longer tube jam and then a longer gym jam and then bring it back.
Lose
Right. Like
people. Get
both
them out there.
versions were truncated. but
truncated. That's a good word.
It's hard, I think, to be too critical.
No, not at all. It's neat. It looks good, fun on paper. One of those things, though, you listen to it once and you're like, yeah, that was fun. But it's not like the Wave of Hope, which you would probably return to repeatedly.
Right. Like, I'm going to listen to the whole show one time again, because that's just kind of like my process, and I like doing that. But beyond that, I could see myself hitting this wave, the first half of the song I Heard the Ocean Sea.
Right. The first hour of this set, right? First hour 15, and then the half hour from the end of the first set.
Right. I could see myself listening to that several times. I don't know that the Tube Gym is beyond the gimmick, right? Like something that you go back. Still fun though. I mean, if you were there tonight or watching it, you have to be fucking really happy with this show. Like, this was a fantastic show.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I really, my only thing was, the first set, I was like, we're first set songs, until Birds. But after Birds, I think they found their footing, and I think tomorrow night's going to be the one. I think Saturday will be party time. Everybody wore out, but I think tomorrow night they're really going to take the first hour of the second set tonight and expand on it and really get some.
It's hard for me to imagine them topping tonight, but you look at the last couple, like with New Year's and how they played in the MSG run, and I don't know. All I gotta say is 41 years in, and we're still getting performances like this. I think we're super lucky.
Right. They get 2 thumbs up for me for doing the reprise tonight, though. Good for you guys. Let's make
get it out of the way, get it done. Yeah, and Bug, sure, fuck. I don't really have anything to say about it, but why not?
I'm not a Bug guy, but
it
cool.
doesn't
matter.
Set me up for it.
As an encore, it's fine. When they did it in the first set in North Carolina last summer, I was like, dude, come on, the middle of the first set.
Yeah, I would have thought you would have liked it, just like lyrically and stuff. No, I never know. I literally talk to you every day. I still have no idea what to expect. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.